just as Joe isn't, to have a debate about this with Rudy Giuliani, because we've got the facts on our side, but we've got to be clear about those facts and not pretend that those facts don't exist.
But when asked by the New York Times as to whether Senator Clinton has been truthful, you said no.
What I said is that she has not been truthful and clear about this point that I just made, which is we can talk about fiscal responsibility, and all of us agree with that. All of us oppose privatization. But even after we deal with those issues, we are still going to have an actuarial gap that has to be dealt with. It is not going to vanish, and if we have a moral responsibility to the next generation to make sure that Social Security is there, the most successful program to lift seniors out of poverty that we've ever devised, then we need to start acting now and having a serious conversation about it.
Tim, I don't see any difference here. You know, my view is we go toward fiscal responsibility, which is hard. It's not going to be easy inheriting what we're going to inherit from Bush and the Republicans. And there are some long-term challenges. I have no disagreement with that. But I think the best way to handle them is within the context of a bipartisan commission. That's what worked in 1983 when Social Security was on the ropes. Our colleagues in the Senate had a hearing today talking about how they could move toward a bipartisan commission. And once there's a bipartisan commission, then we can see what we need to do. But I don't want these decisions to be made in a vacuum. I want it to be made in the face of moving back toward fiscal responsibility, because that will influence which choices are actually better. And I certainly don't want to impose a $1 trillion tax increase on middle-class families or any kind of additional burdens on our seniors.
Senator Obama, we're going to transfer into a new area here. A question specifically for you, because you're in a rather unique position. It's about religion and misinformation. Governor Romney misspoke twice on the same day, confusing your name with that of Osama bin Laden. Your party is fond of talking about potential swift voting. Are you fearful of what happened to John McCain, for example, in South Carolina a few years back? Confusion on the basis of things like names and religion.
No, because I have confidence in the American people. And I don't pay much attention to what Mitt Romney has to say. At least, you know, what he says this week. It may be different next week. But there is no doubt that my background is not typical of a presidential candidate. I think everybody understands that. But that's part of what is so powerful about America, is that it gives all of us the opportunity, a woman, a Latino, myself, the opportunity to run. And listen, when I was running for the United States Senate, everybody said, nobody's going to vote for a black guy named Barack Obama. They can't even pronounce it. And we ended up winning by 20 points in the primary and 30 points in the general election. The way to respond to swift voting is to respond forcefully, rapidly, and truthfully. And I have absolute confidence in the American people's capacity to absorb the truth as long as we are forceful in that presentation. And we are seeing it as we travel all across the country. We have received enormous support in states where, frankly, there aren't a lot of African Americans and there aren't a lot of Obamas.
Let's take this opportunity to fit in what will be the second of 3 breaks tonight. We'll be back with more from the campus of Drexel University in Philadelphia right after this. Back from the campus of Drexel University here in Philadelphia. Our debate continues now. We're going to introduce some rule changes as we go. And for this next question, alone in this segment, we're going to enforce or try to, a 30-second limit on responses. We're going to begin with Senator Dodd and go right down the most experts believe we're looking at $100 a barrel oil prices, perhaps very soon. Most experts further believe there are some folks in America who may be paying 50% more for things like heating oil this winter. Let's say where winters are difficult in 2 states that come to mind, Iowa and New Hampshire, say nothing of your home state of Connecticut. As a member of the U.S. Senate, are these people doomed to paying more, to suffering through these energy costs this winter, Senator. Aside from blue ribbon panels, what can be done right now about what afflicts the United States on this issue of energy?
Well, I would suggest here what Senator Byron Dorgan and I offered twice in the last couple of years, and that was to say that any increase in price over $40 a barrel, either being reinvested in alternative energies or new exploration here, or provide a direct rebate to consumers across the country to reduce the cost that you've exactly described here with these increases in the price of a barrel of oil. That would provide some immediate relief. Low-income energy assistance and other programs, which I and others have championed over the years to provide assistance to those who are going to be in desperate conditions, would help as well. But that's the short-term answer to this problem. The longer-term answers, obviously, are to stop what we do every single day, and that is borrow $1 billion every single day to buy foreign oil offshore here. We ought to be moving more directly, obviously, to energy independence here. I'd invite people to chrisdodd.com to get a long, detailed explanation of exactly how to do that.
To enforce this time limit, Senator Biden.
A big